Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July weekend. Goes by way too fast, obviously. Got a lot to talk about today. We're going to bring old buddy Martin, who's been on vacation, a vacation that he didn't plan. He's been hanging out at the Holiday Inn Express. Good morning, buddy. You're on the Titan MR hotline. How are you?
Well, good morning to you, Shane. Nice to see your smiling face again today. And I was on vacation, except there were other plans. And I can get to take. Finally got one day to sort of hang out and veg out and watch TV yesterday out of the 8 or 9 days. So I'm just glad to be here. Listen, I did stay at the Holiday Inn Express 5 nights. So that makes me 5 times an expert. So I know everything now. I'm coming back in this crazy world we're in, Shane. What in the world's going on, man? Everything.
Well, as you said, our thoughts and prayers go out to the folks up in Highland Park, Illinois. What happened yesterday at that parade was just uncalled for and devastating. And that's a really nice area. I used to live about 5-10 miles from there when I was with the Bears. Really nice area. Crazy what's going on in the world. Buddy, I got a question for you for 4th of July. I get home late last night, or not late, but turn on the TV, and of course they got that Macy's firework display thing going on.
Yeah.
I'm not a big firework guy. I think it's the biggest waste ever. I know
Me too. I do too.
Chicks like it more than anybody, but
Yeah.
I read, so I Googled it, over $8 million that they spent on that firework display.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, we share that thought. But I guess some people have to blow up things. I don't like what it does to animals. I have Sammy over the night, and he's Brendan's dog, and he's like our grand dog. And they just sit there and tremble. I'm thinking, do people even think about animals during a time like this? What is it about our country? We got to go up and blow up things. I mean, I get it. It's a celebration, Independence Day. I'm all for that. But isn't there a better, more efficient way? And could that money be used for something more productive? I know we're in the minority, Shane, but I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Andy says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mental Law. Shane, wasn't Luke born in the Lake Forest Hospital? That's where many of the wounded parade goers from yesterday's shooting in Highland Park were taken to. Yeah, he was born there at Lake Forest Hospital.
That's near Evanston, right? Yeah, my wife used to live there.
Yeah, Lake Forest, Highland Park, Evanston. Lake Forest is where the Chicago Bears facility was.
Right.
And it's a really, really nice area. It's a suburb.
Did you like Chicago, Shane? Is that a good town for you?
Well, 7 of my 14 years I was there, but you got to remember.
How did you like
it? It's probably my favorite big city in America because it's very clean all the time. But we live 35 miles north of the city. The only time I ever went to the city was the day before the game. So I wasn't a big downtown guy. I was in the suburbs. We were almost in Wisconsin.
Man, you mean on State Street, that great street? You don't like that Toblin town, man? Oh, my goodness.
Just not the big city, man.
You didn't dream of Harry Carey going on State Street at nighttime like you did? I get you. It's a great city. It really is. And my wife lived there a while. And anyway, very sad news, as you say, about what happened to those people.
Yeah. Buddy, did you watch Joey Chestnut win again?
Man, I draw the line there. I draw the line. Fireworks, I can tolerate. Joey Chestnut and gorging himself the hot dogs, I got no time for that. I know I'm an old funny daddy and whatever. Did you watch it?
No. I just saw a clip on Twitter. Some protester attacked him on stage, and he put him in a headlock. So the world is crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It is crazy.
Best thing to do is just stay home. Go to a golf course or stay home.
Listen, I'm going to tell you what I did. I stayed home 5 days in the Holiday Inn Express. And then, of course, and thank you, by the way, it was a good one at Silver Springs. My friends actually own it. I've stayed in hotels all over the world, I'm not a big hotel motel guy. This is perfect, really perfect. Okay. Now, having said that, I got home to get the tree off the house, $4,500 later. And I want to go on with this because I know people are bored with it. But the biggest challenge was changing from DirecTV to Cox. Now, I've concluded that the people who work in technology think all of us graduated from MIT. I've never in my life found anything as more confusing and convoluted as trying to resolve that change. It was like trying to go from being let's say, from an astronaut to a drill sergeant. I don't know exactly. I couldn't translate it. And I've got smart people in my family who know how to do this. They help me through it. But getting Cox on and going cable for DirecTV, it was a major, major, major project. I never dreamed it was so hard, Shane, even though I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express 5 nights.
I like it. Some other news, some sad news. Former Gator basketball player Patrick Young was in a very serious car accident. I think he appears to be doing okay. I know he had a bunch of surgeries. What have you heard about that, buddy?
Just what you have. When I first heard it, I was horrified by the news. Patrick Young's one of the great ambassadors for our university. What a great young man and a great basketball player. And his future is so bright. And for this to happen to anybody would be tragic. But to happen, I guess he was in surgery, as you point out. His life probably was in jeopardy at some point. I'm glad to say he's okay. I say, okay, that's relative. Let's just say he survived it. I don't know any more than that, but certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to Patrick Young, one of the all-time favorite athletes at the University of Florida.
Yep, Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit OgreInsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Speaking with Buddy Martin on the Titan MR hotline. If you got any questions for us, we're going to jump into Gator and college football stuff here in just a second. Buddy, I want to briefly talk about golf. JT Poston wins the John Deere Classic. I watched some of it. I enjoy watching it. But do you know who JP McManus is?
All right, you stole my thunder. Okay, this is exactly
what I want. This guy.
Well, yeah, okay, I'm with you on that, and I got a whole segment. Didn't know how much you want to talk about golf, but no, I don't know. I did not know. I read the story, and I didn't know where the golf tournament was, and I got so much to say about this. This apparently is a 50-man professional field with 10 of the world's top 11 players. 15-time major champion Tiger Woods also teed up at Adari Manor, one of the best golf courses in the world. Woods, by the way, shot 5 over 77. What in the hell is this tournament?
Well, it's a pro-am. So I think it was yesterday and today.
Yeah.
So you got Tiger and 4 paying participants, and those guys, the PGA Tour players, are actually playing for a purse and to win it. And I don't know if you saw, but Jordan Spieth got disqualified. Not his team didn't, but he did because, when you play in those team formats, and once you hit a putt and it doesn't go in and it's less than a foot, you just rake it. Yeah. And he raked it, so he was out of the individual competition. But the reason I brought up the JP McManus deal, I Googled this dude. He's like a billionaire over there and big into horse race. I don't know if he's still alive or not. But that golf course, and did you see that hotel castle that they're? No,
I saw shots of it. I didn't watch any of the tournament and stuff. And I know. I just couldn't believe they got all these players. Shane, let me ask you a question. What's the difference in this and Saudi golf? I mean, they don't want to do Saudi.
They play this. They play this every year before the British Open.
But it's the same thing. It's pay and play. It's appearance fees. It's all the things the PGA Tour says it's against. And they're fighting this whole thing with the Saudi golf, which I, by the way, don't like either. But the fact this is the same thing. This is a payday for a bunch of pros who probably get appearance fees, which is against the rules of the PGA Tour. I'm saying that they probably do. They don't. Those guys don't come play for nothing. So yeah, I'm confused. I'm a little bit. They're talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Well, they've played in this before because it's like they're because they usually go over there early. You play those links courses, getting ready for the Scottish Open or the Irish Open, and then you play the British Open. So this is just a couple of days before it. A majority of them are going to play in the Scottish Open this weekend? a lot of them. CBS is even covering the Scottish Open this weekend. So anyway, I didn't know if you'd ever heard of JP McManus.
Well, let me ask you a question, Shane. We're above average golf fans, aren't we? Would you say? Well, we know more than most average golf fans do. Why is it you have to ask me who JP McManus is? And I have to say, no, but I mean, you don't know who he is. I don't either.
But I'd heard of this thing in the past few years, but by them televising it, and maybe they televised it in the past, I Googled the guy. I don't know if he's alive or if he's passed away, but he's a billionaire over there, big into horse racing, golf courses, and I think he owned this Adory Manor, which, man, what a pretty golf course that was. All right, enough of golf. Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, it's Florida Day on the SEC Network. Yeah, you can watch all Gator stuff. Speaking of that, I was working out. I don't know if it was Friday. I was on the elliptical and had it on the SEC Network, and it was Alabama Day, whatever day that was. Buddy, they had the Alabama-Auburn game on. With 5 minutes to go in that game, it was 10-3. Auburn. Tank Bigsby runs out of bounds.
Yep.
And then they punt it down there with like a minute and a half to go, and Bryce Young made some unbelievable throws, and they win that game. It was crazy. They should have never won that game, but they found a way, and that's why he won the Heisman Trophy. So anyway, I don't know what got me on that. All right, let's talk Gator recruiting. Obviously, they picked up a big recruit yesterday, TJ Searcy.
Yeah.
I believe he's the son of Leon Searcy, however you want to pronounce it, big Miami Hurricane offensive lineman. But that was a good get. I know the Gator fans are all up in arms. Look, I keep trying to tell people, buddy, you can only sign 25 athletes. You can't have them all. If the kid chooses to go elsewhere, that's his decision.
Well, let me say this, okay? Apparently, I'm not smart enough, even though I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express 5 nights, because some guy named Greg called me out on the Fall Five Bomb show. He says he's from Gainesville. He's from Gainesville. I never heard of a guy named Greg. You never had him on your show. I haven't either. Ever called in, never written. All of a sudden, he's ripping me and saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. And then I don't follow recruiting. Therefore, I'm an idiot. I have no clue about what's happening in Florida. Maybe he's right. But the fact is, I'm tired of these posers and trolls and people getting on the show and calling themselves Gator fans and ripping Shane or buddy. Or we do it every day. Now, there's a lot we don't know, Shane. We admit that. But this guy, who the hell is he to come on and say that everybody else doesn't know what he knows about recruiting? What can he possibly know about recruiting? I don't know much about TJ Searcy, but I can read. I know he was a 4-star defensive lineman from Thomaston, Georgia. I know people are excited about it. He's a good get, without a doubt. And certainly they need guys like him. And this is what he has to do. Billy has to keep trudging along with his measly little 4 stars and 3 stars and build a team. So, yeah, I mean, it's confusing. It's aggravating. I'm ready. I mean, I am so tired of these people who think they know everything about recruiting. I admit I don't know anything about it. Let's see who shows up. Let's see who dresses out. Let's see how they play, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, Joseph says here he thinks there's only like 23 or 24 5-stars total in America. It's something
right. That's correct. That's correct.
So here's the deal. I think it's people that aren't educated, buddy, in some capacity. I said this. Was it on my show or another show the other day? I think it was on Steve Russell's show. I said, people need to understand, yes, as a Gator fan and as a former Gator player, would I love for all 25 players to be the best at their position or whatever our needs are? Would I want us to be able to get the best player? Absolutely. But I'm a realist, because here's the deal, buddy. As I said, you can only sign 25 players, okay? The other thing is, when Buddy Martin walks into, whether it's Billy Napier's office, Nick Saban's office, you're going to make a decision that's best for you, okay? You ain't worried about what anybody else says. You know, back in the day, before all this social media was out there, you could pretty much book on if Buddy Martin's family were Gators or if Buddy Martin's dad played for the Gators, you were going to be a Gator. That's just how it used to be. It's not like that anymore. And when people get so upset and sit here and try to say that our coaches don't know what they're doing and this, that, and the other, it's ridiculous, because I can't convince you, Buddy Martin, to go stay at a Ramada Inn when you just chose to stay at the Holiday Inn Express, right?
Depends on what you're offering, Shane.
Well, that's not true either, because
it's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah. Right. Maybe you got a continental breakfast and we didn't offer one. Right. But my point is, and these other people that sit here and talk about, we need to get on board with the NIL. Okay. Well, first of all, no NIL stuff takes place until that kid is enrolled at that school. Okay. So
allegedly.
Okay. Right. So my point, though, is until we see a contract that states whatever this kid is getting, I don't believe half of the stories that are out there. And I'm going to have Darren Heitner on my show, I think next Monday.
Good. He's smart. He knows all about it.
Yes. And my point is, I don't care what Jaden Rashada is supposedly getting from Miami. He chose to go there, whether he chose the money or he likes Mario Cristobal or he want to be a Miami Hurricane. That ain't a Florida problem. That's just my opinion.
Okay, I hear you. I feel you. Well, I did like this guy, Antoine Jackson from Dillard, 4-star defensive back. He tweeted this: I don't want to take pictures in front of Lamborghinis or Ferraris. Tell me how you can develop me and get me to the next level. That sounds good. Then I really look him up. He's flipped about 3 times already. You know, he's on his 4th scoop flipping. So, I like his thought there. That is what it's all about, because that's where he's going to get paid. If he gets better as a 4-star defensive lineman and gets a contract in NFL, he's set for life, right? You may drive a nice car. So I'm with you on that, Shane. I'm confused. I don't know what it's all about, and we'll just wait and see what happens with the sun. Now, here's a question I have for you. I'm going to talk to him today. Your coach, Coach Spurrier. He managed to survive at Florida, shall we say, even though he was not a good recruiter, right? Would you acknowledge that? He had to do it somehow.
Well, he recruited a different way, and he basically said, you can come here and be a Gator, or we're going to beat you if you go somewhere else. Look, the times have changed, and he would probably tell you, because I've talked to multiple college coaches recently. And the whole NIL thing is a disaster. I don't care how anybody wants to put it. It's a disaster. And it will work itself out in about a year or two, because there are going to be people that have overpaid for players, which that's not what it was intended to do. Mm-hmm. And those people that have paid that money are going to be like, I ain't doing this again. This is stupid.
Mm-hmm. The free market will settle that part for sure. But I was going to ask you this. And I'm going to have him I'm going to interview him today. I'm writing a piece about it. This is part 3 of the Steve Spurrier Then and Now series I'm doing. This part focuses on recruiting, what he did then, whether any of it would work now, and what he sees and what he thinks about the modern coach. How do you recruit? Like you say, you're not going to get, a running back, because it's Fred Taylor, Kelvin Taylor. I ran a piece on him this weekend. Today he got ripped by McElwain. But, you aren't going to get him because he was a Gator. So what do you do? How do you navigate these waters? NIL is going to be a part of it, is a part of it. You can't deny it. You're not supposed to use it for recruiting too. But, now I know everybody's doing it, okay? But like you say, it's a choice of the individual. And, as you know, when you get them, you got to coach them up. Let's see how they're coached. I think on that front, Billy Napier probably will do well. But I don't know, because I haven't seen one of his teams take the field yet.
Yeah, well, Andy says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mental Law, Buddy, Osiris Torrance has been named first-team Walter Camp All-American. Right. Why aren't we talking more about this guy and how he'll improve our offensive line? Yeah. Because he came from Louisiana. He wasn't a 5-star, so nobody gives a damn. Mm-hmm. He's a really good football player, and he's going to be a high draft pick when he's eligible to go, and he will play in the NFL for a long time. But the Gator fans don't give a damn because he came out of the transfer portal and he ain't a 5-star.
Well, I talked to him for an hour on our show, and I really like this kid a lot. As a matter of fact, soon you'll hear we're going to have a little dinner, probably at Spurrier's. We got a special order of Louisiana hot sauce, something he really misses. And I got a friend named Bradshaw who's from Louisiana. He's going to arrange something, and we're going to make our NIL foray with having a little dinner for Osiris with Louisiana hot sauce. This kid is a bona fide deal. You talk to other players who've seen him play, you talk about how his stats are ridiculous. He didn't have a single sack. I mean, so he's going to be a star. There's no question about that. And that's a big get, you know. I mean, offensive line, that's what Billy appears to be doing, isn't he, Shane? Loading up the trenches.
Yeah, he's done a good job with it. As Joseph says, he's a 5-star transfer if they rank them the same way.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, but he wasn't a 5-star. He was probably a 2-star when he went to Louisiana.
Right,
but there's good players like that out there. But it's the whole recruiting thing, buddy, is just it's out of control. Yeah. But again, maybe it's just because of my Twitter feed and where we live. Mm-hmm. But the only people that I see on this Twitter feed that are marketing themselves, and yeah, they've gotten some players, but it's all because they're paying for them, or is Miami and Tennessee. You don't hear about anybody else, really.
Well, A&M.
Well, A&M, yes, and Texas has done a really good job once Arch committed there. Yeah. And Texas is throwing a lot of money around as well.
Yeah.
But, we'll see, because as Ted says here on Facebook Live, if Miami looks bad at the beginning of the year, those Miami recruits will have second thoughts. And that easily could happen. I mean, Miami has not been relevant in a long time. They're buying players. Good for them. I hope for college football, Miami needs to be relevant. They need to get back to winning games. They've been horrible for so long. And they have a really good quarterback this year. So we'll see.
And they got a good coach. Cristobal is a great hire for them. I think what I thought we're seeing is that Miami is beginning to influence the decision on Florida. As we talked about on this show, and I have for years, don't overlook the fact that UCF has got their program is stepping it up, that Miami is going to be relevant again. And some of these players they think they're going to just get, they aren't going to just get them, especially in NIL. Miami's a player. They're trying to bring it back. And, like you say, it's, as much as I hate the term the U, when the U is back, things are better for college football. I mean, I'd like to see Florida State back and be relevant again. Speaking of which, you didn't say one single word about the fact that I prophesied what was going to happen a long time ago.
I was getting ready. I was going to get to that. All right,
let me hear it, because I stay at the Holiday Inn Express, and I want to bring it on, because I've talked about it for 40 years, Shane. 40 years. I can prove it. And finally, it's happening. I'm not sure it's the best thing. We've got a super conference, and that was confirmed last week with UCLA and USC jumping ship.
We do. I'm going to get right back to that. I want to read JB's Facebook Live here, brought to you by Mello. Think about the QB room at Miami with 4 QBs sitting there with an incoming freshman making $9.5 million and the other 3 ahead of him not making him. He ain't making 9.5. Don't believe it, JB. He is not making 9. And plus, he's still in high school. He's not coming in until next year. So a lot of things can change. But I can promise you, he is not making $9.5 million. There's no way in hell. That's more than, I think, 16 starting quarterbacks in the National Football League made. It's stupid for anyone. It's false information. And we'll talk to Darren Heitner about that next week. All right, buddy, back to you. You're exactly right. Your super conferences are on their way. Here's my only concern about it, buddy. And it's not that big a deal in football. It's travel. Okay? Because you got to think about it. In the NFL, and I talked about this on Steve's show the other day. In the NFL, you only take 53 players and only 45 of them dress. Okay? The equipment goes on the team plane, the chartered plane. Okay? In college, you're taking at least 70 in a conference game. If it's a non-conference, you take as many as you want. But they do keep the travel down. But they don't put the planes that they charter aren't big enough. And plus they take all these personnel people that the equipment guys have to drive the football equipment to that facility. Okay. So think about if you're the Ohio State equipment staff and you got to drive to California. It's not possible. They're going to have to charter bigger flights. But for football, it's not that big a deal because you fly in, you play the game, you come back. But for basketball, softball, baseball, all those non-revenue sports, it's going to have to become like an NBA type schedule where you fly across the country, you stay for like a week and play 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. But it's just like I used to argue with the people talk about, we can't allow these athletes to be away from campus because of class.
Right.
Nobody gives a damn about class anymore, let's be honest.
Yeah. They'll fly the tutors out with them.
Yeah, well, they'll just do everything online, but that's my only concern about it. But I think you're going to end up getting about 50 teams.
Yeah, maybe
we'll have like 25 in each division and go play like the NFL.
Yeah, my original plan was to have 60 or so teams and have alliances between conferences where you'd be aligned with, and you play it down like you do in basketball, where they have 64, they play it down, and that's going to change a lot of things. Not the least of which is you got to shorten the schedule during the regular season, and it's okay because if you go to 12-man playoff, you're still going to have a lot more football for these guys. There's a lot to be determined. But let me say one thing about the Pasta side. Not much is being said about the Pastas. I like the fact that kids have more control over their destiny, where they're going to go and play and they can transfer. I like that. I think they should get something, and they are getting something. I think the free market will settle that. I see opportunity for young men here that I didn't see before, which is great for the athletes and stuff like that. And we're going to have a better game at the high level of the Super Conference because we're going to have competitive games. Would you not watch Ohio State and USC? I think you would. Are you not going to be more enamored when Oklahoma and Texas are playing Alabama and Auburn and Florida and Georgia? You are. So the quality of the game and some of the people playing it, I think, are going to benefit. It's going to take a while. They got to get it straight and get it right. But I think where we're going eventually, once it's landed, once the free market settles it, it's going to be better for everybody, Shane.
No, I agree. I agree. Like I said, I don't like where college athletics are going right now. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just like there ain't nothing I can do about politics or crazy stuff going on in the world.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question, Shane, if I may. Mm-hmm. There's a passage in the famous book Cross Creek, which is my favorite author from, where Cross Creek is between Floral Valley and Gainesville, Marjorie Kennan Mullins. She wrote The Yearling. She won the Pulitzer, my all-time favorite writer. And she has a passage in there, which I read at several funerals. It's who owns Cross Creek? I ask you the question, who owns college football? This is the thing that bothers me. Who owns college football, Shane? It ain't the president of the university. It's not even the players on the roster. It's not the coaches, right? It's not the rich boosters, Shane. Who owns college football?
I don't know the answer to that.
Fan base. The fan bases own college football. Crazy or not, they're the ones left holding the bag when a coach leaves. Coach goes every 5 years and gets his $10 million payday. And they're the ones who go when the down times hit and they can't, their teams can't win a lick. They're the ones who suffer. They're the ones who pay for everything, are getting asked to pay more. It's the fan base, not the ones who are these Johnny-come-latelys. Shane, people who have invested, not just financially, but emotionally in this program. That's who owns the Florida Gators, okay? And that's what I want to get straight about it. It's the fan base that owns the Florida Gators, the ones that have been together. Yes, that phrase does matter in all kinds of weather, Shane. There's a meaning to that, all right? That's where we're getting to. So what we're missing in this game, and I'll get off my soapbox, we're missing loyalty. And not just, by the way, at every level, from the coaches, from the university, from the president, Scott Strickland, we're missing loyalty. The fans, and I think if you're going to ask the fans to be loyal and step up and really be together in all kinds of weather, then it's to be expected from everybody else, Shane, including the president, including everybody else involved in the University of Florida football.
I agree. And when it comes to that, admissions needs to let kids from Gator families get into school. I want to get your thoughts on what Charlie said.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. All right. I like that.
He says, Shane, the only NCAA sport where the people in charge seem to worry about travel or limiting games is football. Basketball teams travel all over the country and midweek for conference games. No one cares, but football teams can only travel so much. I disagree with that. Football is the easiest travel there is of any sport. They're going to charter their plane. They're going to leave on Friday, fly in, and they're coming right back Saturday. Mm-hmm. It's not like that for any other sport. They have to spend the night, and they don't have charter flights. Men's basketball does, but my point is, Tim Walton, they bus to a lot of their baseball buses to a lot of their games in Auburn and Georgia and places like that. Okay. What now are they going to do when they bus? They don't bus to Missouri. That's a long ways. They have to catch commercial flights. Now you got to go to Oklahoma. Ohio State traveling all the way across the country. Rutgers. I said this on my show the other day.
Yeah.
Somebody, I don't know who it was, they said it's quicker trip for Rutgers to fly to Iceland than it is to California.
It's pretty good, yeah.
I mean, think about that. So travel is a nightmare for the sports other than football.
I agree.
Football's easy travel.
Well, let me ask you a question. What do you do about it? Here's an idea. Can you chew on this for a minute? What if you get down to the fact that you, number one, you have regions where you play in the region. You don't make every trip to California every year or whatever. I mean, you figure out how to say it's really going back to the divisions in sort of a way where you're especially in baseball and different divisions, you don't have to keep playing these ridiculous schedules. I think they got to figure it out where they play divisions or whatever you want to call it, so they can have interleague, interdivision play, and then only have to go out once in a while to play outside their pot. That's what I think they have to do.
Yeah, but we got a text on the Titan More text line from Jim. Jim says, "Hey, buddy, if you were the commissioner or if you were in charge of the SEC, what schools would you want to add?"
Wow, that's a good one. I've thought about this. I know that people are smug with the ones they got 16. They got to go to 20. Mm-hmm. They got it. And I tell you why. If it's about TV markets, and Shane, you know it's about TV markets. That's what it is, right? How can you not want to have these markets? Georgia Tech is sitting there right in the middle of Atlanta. Former SEC member. People don't talk about them. If you just take Georgia Tech and you go to Carolina and you get North Carolina, I'm not sure NC State makes it. Then who do you take? You take those other. I mean, you won't Notre Dame. You're probably not going to get them. I'm going to do a show on Notre Dame later in the week. And then you take those four. Florida State has to be one of them, in my opinion. And then you pick your pick, whether you want the Virginia Tech or whoever else you want, so forth. I think you got some really good markets there in television that you can't ignore. I think we wind up with one super conference and two huge divisions. One of them, and I don't know what's going to happen out west. I have no idea what's going to happen out there with Washington State, etc. But I'm saying there's four. Listen, forever, Shane, people have been talking about Florida State being the SEC, North Carolina. Those are really good programs because North Carolina is a very rich franchise. So I think I got to go to four more teams and let them go to four more in the SEC in Big 12, 240. Then they have to have a third division, third league. I don't know how to do that, but I do think you claim those TV markets now.
Well, I think you got to add Clemson. I think Clemson.
Clemson would be in that.
Clemson is an SEC school,
no doubt about
just sitting out there in the country.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like Auburn. Yeah. They would be my number one choice. So you said Florida State, or did you say Miami, or both?
I said Florida State. I didn't say Miami. I'm not sure about them, but probably Florida State, Miami. Got North Carolina and either Clemson or Georgia Tech. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. I would take Clemson, but I think Tech needs to be back in the SEC.
I would have no problem with Georgia Tech from our academic standpoint.
Right.
They'll be right up there with the Gators, huh?
Right. Yeah, they will be.
That'd be us, Vanderbilt, and Georgia Tech.
There you go.
Yeah. So,
who would you pick, Shane? You got Clemson. Who else?
Out of four teams, I'm definitely taking Clemson as my number one.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
I've read where a lot of people, I don't know if from the market or what they were talking about, but a lot of people think Virginia Tech needs to be in the SEC.
Would you take them? Would you take them over Georgia Tech?
I don't know. I kind of like West Virginia.
Really?
I don't know. I just think West Virginia has that passionate fan base that would be good for the conference.
They ought to be in the Big Ten, in my opinion.
I think they need to be in one of those for sure.
Would you take Florida State?
I mean, you kind of have to. I'd take Florida State and Miami and Clemson, and then North Carolina would be my number one.
All right.
Although I like Georgia Tech. I think they would be good.
Yeah, go 6 teams.
Dan asked here on Facebook Live, does Miami and Georgia Tech have softball? I know Georgia Tech does. Speaking of that, Can you believe that the University of Southern California does not play softball?
Yeah, I can believe it. They do things. They do things differently out the West Coast. Do they need to have one? Of course they do.
But think about women's softball. When you think about it, you think about the West Coast before the last 15,
I think about Oklahoma is what I think about.
Well, you do now, but I'm talking about take 15 years, go 15 years back. You think of the West Coast. And
does UCLA have it? Does UCLA have women's softball?
Oh, they got multiple national titles. That's like the premier team.
That's right. I remember that now. Yeah.
Them in Arizona.
I remember now. Yeah, so, I don't know. I can't be in charge of it all, Shane. I got you a super conference. I'm retiring now.
Ted asked here on Facebook Live, it looks like the governor is going to pick a fight with UF and the state colleges about admissions. Could this press hurt Gator athletics? What's he talking about?
No idea. If it's politics, I don't do it.
I don't either, but I don't know what the governor has to do with our admissions at Florida.
Don't get me started, okay? Please.
Well, I love to get on the admissions because I think it's ridiculous.
Well, it's not the admissions part I'm talking about. I'm talking about the governor and the politics.
Lauren Meadows says West Virginia and Pitt should go to the Big Ten.
I agree with you, Lauren. You're right. You are right, my friend.
David says Clemson adds nothing. I disagree with that. Premier football program.
Yeah, premier football program.
Pretty good in basketball, pretty good in baseball.
But mostly
tremendous fan base. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what you don't want to hear, what people don't want to hear. But Vanderbilt needs to go someplace else. I love their school, I love their academics, know what they do, but they are not competitive at this level. I think they'll get Georgia Tech in and tell Vanderbilt to go play someplace else. That's just my opinion. I know people get pissed off at me. I love the academics, but it won't happen. That's just my honest opinion.
All right, buddy, before we let you go, we got another text on the Titan Mark text line for Frank. He says, does Miami have a big enough fan-based television market to have them included in the SEC?
Well, of course they do. A huge television
It's Miami.
They don't have many fans that come to the games, as we know, but they have a huge television market. By the way, can I just say one thing? RIP to a huge figure in Miami that passed away, Hank Goldberg, Hammer and Hank. Yeah, and I've known him for years. He and Edmund Pope, the late Edmund Pope, the Herald sports columnist, they were the premier sports personalities in South Florida. Not Dan Le Batard, but whatever. Those two guys, they set the curve. They were the ones who were there when everything went on in the golden days of sports. So this guy was a terrific person, Mr. Miami, and he and Edmund Pope. RIP to Hank Goldberg, Hammer and Hank.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Buddy, good stuff as always. Who you got on the program tonight?
Got a guy named Matthews on, and I've also got a guy named France Beard. You guys are using my Monday night crew, but we're doing Monday on Tuesday on the Buddy Martin Show tonight.
You got your Mississippi connection tonight.
I do. We can talk. So you are basically you are a rebel at heart. Okay, I know you are. That's okay. You got a lot of blood tied in that, but you do, and it's understandable. You should be true to who you are, Shane. But now you're a Gator and you bleed orange and blue.
I can do both.
You can. That's true. That's permissible. But to get right down to it, if you talk about loyal Gators, you're one.
You're right. So I'm trying to tell everybody to relax on the recruiting thing, or you're going to drive yourself insane.
Preach it, Shane. Preach it.
Yes. Buddy, what do we got? About 8 weeks left till kickoff?
Boy, that's exciting, isn't it? We're going to get some football. I can't wait. I found out it looks like I might be able to go. I was worried about a family wedding being held the same week. I was getting a lot of pressure, Shane. A lot of pressure. I said, I've got to be there the night Billy Napier kicks it off. I've seen all this is the beginning of a new era, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. You got to be there, buddy. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time. I kept you a little too long. My bad.
I'm always glad to be with you. I always enjoy it. Thank you very much for having me on.
We're glad you're out of the Holiday Inn Express, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. See you tonight, Shane. Thanks.
All right, that's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. Going to take a quick time out. Come back. Get to more of these Facebook Live and Titan More text line.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics. Live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker M.M. Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Escapology, Sushi Hana, Regal Cinemas, Kilwins, Le Macaron, Prime and Pearl, and the HPC's restaurant Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2:30, you can get the hottest brunch in town. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank Buddy Mark for joining us on the Titan MR Hotline. You can listen to Buddy every Monday through Thursday on Facebook Live about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see, a couple of Facebook Lives here. Again, if you missed it, Patrick Young was in a pretty serious car wreck, and he seems to be doing okay. I know he had some surgery and stuff, but our thoughts and prayers go out to him. He's out in South Dakota or Nebraska or somewhere, not really sure. If you missed it, also the Gators picked up a 4-star recruit out of defensive lineman out of Georgia, TJ Searcy. I saw where the big offensive lineman from Trinity Catholic, when he decommitted a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was a week ago, and I think he was going to commit to Miami. Our rankings went up when he decommitted. So I don't know how any of that stuff works. I know a lot of you people follow it, but I thought that was interesting. Maybe I read it wrong. Jeff says nobody's going to get kicked out. There's no way the conference is that unethical or would want that kind of catastrophic PR. Yeah, no, they're not going to get rid of anybody. They're just going to add to it. I know people want to kick Vanderbilt out, but Vanderbilt's a good, very good baseball program. Obviously, a couple national titles there. They used to be decent in basketball. I think they're getting better under Jerry Stackhouse. They've had some good players. So we'll see. Okay. Andy asked, Shane, did you see that Darius Garland signed a 5-year, $193 million contract with the Cavs? Never heard of this guy, but I guess he played at Vandy, big money. Yes, he is a really good player. Had a hell of a year last year for the Cavs. He was one of their big-time recruits at Vandy, but was hurt. And I don't know if he ever played a down. I don't know if he ever played at all for Vanderbilt. Boy, is he a good pro, though. Well worth the money, Andy, for sure. Let me get to a text on the Titan MR text line. Hey, Shane, what do you know about the kid that Sully offered that's a dual threat quarterback? Well, he says he's going to play both sports. Yes, I saw that. I think he's like a 4 or 5-star quarterback as well. He's committed to play baseball. I don't know if he's going to play football or what, but some of our listeners may know more about it than me. But I did see that. I did see a clip of that kid from California that's supposed to go to Tennessee next year. The quarterback playing – they have high school men's volleyball out there. Man, that dude can jump. He might be a better volleyball player than he is a football player. Very, very athletic for sure. But yeah, I can't remember the kid's name that's supposed to play football and baseball here. So maybe he's the quarterback. And I'm not worried about the quarterback position. We got to deal with AR this year. Hopefully he stays healthy and has a good year. Obviously, Jack Miller's got 4 years left. So we're going to be okay. Our running back room is solid. I think the offensive line will be a strength. We're going to run the football. Get ready, folks. We're going to buckle up your damn chin straps. We're going to be a running football team. You can bet on that. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today, 352-244-0840. Mary says Patrick's in South Dakota. That's right. What is he doing in South Dakota? Anybody know? He must have been on vacation, I guess. I don't know why else you would go to South Dakota. Let's see. There was a Facebook Live here I wanted to read. It was a good one. Jeff says West Virginia's academics are dreadful, so SEC and Big Ten don't want them. Yeah, I guess. I think it's a good atmosphere for a football game, though. So, anyway, we're going to have Darren Heitner on talking NIL, so get your questions ready on July the 11th. That would be next Monday. And he agreed to come on, and we'll get all the questions answered. I see on Twitter that people are ripping him. I mean, he's just an attorney that helps represent these kids. And I don't even think he takes a percentage, which I don't know why he doesn't, because that's what agents do. They take a percentage. Some take more than others, but that's their job. So he should be compensated, but I don't think he takes anything. Dan says Young didn't have his seatbelt on. Wear your seatbelt, folks. No question. Oh, Andy says Patrick's fiance is from South Dakota. Okay, so that's why he's there. All right, good deal. Well, we hope he's doing well, and I think more information will come out later. Let's get to This Day in Sports, which is brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat and schedule your air conditioner's tune-up today, keeping you chill and the Florida heat far away. Comfort Tip Heating and Air. Call us today, 352-376-2366. This Day in Sports, in 1991, Major League Baseball owners approved the Colorado Rockies and the Florida Marlins as the new National League franchises to start play in 1993. I remember that. I was still in college in 91, obviously, but I remember the big thing was those, what is it? I guess it's teal, those teal hats that the Marlins used to wear. They were like fluorescent almost. But that's This Day in Sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. All right, let's go ahead and take our final time out of the program. Come back. I got a couple of texts I want to read. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription selection of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Are you in the market to buy or sell a home? Darlene Weeby, a realtor with Caldwell Banker, M. Parrish, will provide you with the fast, friendly, and reliable service. Give her a call today at 352-562-1411 to help your dreams come true. Again, I want to thank Buddy Mark for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, the USFL Championship was on this weekend. Interesting to watch. Yes, the Birmingham Stallions, coached by Skip Holtz. He had a lot of Louisiana Tech players. They won the championship. Okay, we got a text here from Fred on the Titan MR text line. He says, why would UF want Miami or FSU in the SEC? If UF voted for this, bad move. Okay, first off, UF ain't going to be voting on it. Look, having FSU and Miami in the SEC is not going to affect the Gators. I mean, people talk about recruiting. Well, you got Alabama and Georgia and LSU and A&M taking recruits away, so it's no different. So anyway, Andy says, Arch is bringing lots of recruits to Texas, but it is a small high school playing any kind of competition. But is his small high school playing any kind of competition? Could he be another Flippy Frank, small school, big numbers? Look, if you watch the tape, I will agree. You look at it, you go, man, this is some bad competition. But Peyton and Eli both played there too. Okay, he's talented. Has he played against anyone? Absolutely not. But he has got the size. Obviously, he's got the intelligence. He understands football. But you got to remember, Peyton and Eli played there at Newman as well against the same type of competition. But I hear where you're coming from. Jeff says if the SEC bails FSU out, it'll hurt the Gators. Let's put them in the rear view mirror financially. Look, the SEC is going to do what's best for them. I'm sure FSU would love to be a part of the SEC and get that payday. They need it for their facilities and all the coaches they fire year in and year out. So who knows? But bringing Miami and FSU into the SEC is no different, in my opinion, than having Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Tennessee, Georgia. We're bringing Oklahoma and Texas in. Just really, really good programs. We don't know if Miami and FSU are very good right now, but they were relevant at one point. I mean, you go back to the 90s, Florida State, Miami ran college football. Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Go visit them at peachlanddental.com. One more text here before we get out of here. From Sheila. Sheila says, Shane, have they named a replacement for Mick Hubert yet? They have not. I think it will happen in the next week or two. Don't know who it's going to be. I think like I said, it's a national search. I think they'll get a top-notch guy who does football and basketball, but whoever they hire will be a first-class pro for sure. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Last Facebook Live, Joseph said, if y'all think Wakulla High, where Felipe went, is an easy team, tell your local high school. Now, Wakulla, very good football program. No question at all. Hope you enjoyed today's program. We appreciate y'all listening. Tell all your friends and family to follow our programs at all the different social media outlets. Have a great day. We'll see you later. Take care.